Hello everybody, this is David from David I Am Photography, and today I'm just bringing you some quick tips, my thoughts on engagement shoots, engagement photos, and their importance, and my thought process, what's going on, and how to really prep a couple for a wedding, that sort of thing. So let's dig right in and get started. So here we have this couple leaning up against a door, sort of in a doorway, and we just start things off easy, right? So oftentimes I'm not asking them to look directly at the camera. They can look at one another. It's going to instill a little confidence. They can keep their sunglasses on to begin with, and just helps give them a little bit of protection, anonymity, and they start to warm up and get comfortable. So that's the thinking here, and I'm just going to blaze through these pretty quick, getting a little bit tighter, and I like to get the shots in between the shots so that they're not super posy and that sort of thing. Oftentimes I'm instructing them how to stand, so that's including shifting your weight to one leg or the other and that sort of thing. You can see how they have sort of trajectory here. And as they're walking, I like to get some shots and things. This would be something that I would coach out of them, is I'd call this sort of the bunch of bananas, how they're holding hands. Just like to hold your hands like a lady and gentleman, right? As you can imagine a sort of a fine couple dancing where your hands are clasped together, not sort of individually in the fingers. And just as they're walking around, you can see how quick and easy these are. I like to just, hey, give her a kiss on the cheek. Really not a ton of direction, and you want to start getting a feel for how they are. This is an example of a shot that, hey, just have a seat right there, and then I tell them to look at something off, and I tell them what it is so that I know they're looking at exactly the same item. So, you don't want someone looking off in one direction or the other. And depending on how it looks, I'll say, no, that's not working. Look at the next signpost, or look a little more towards me and I pick out the landmark so that they can have a look at it. And, just a variety, right, where they're looking at the camera, where they're looking off, that sort of thing. This is a shot again. They're looking off and down, but it's an intimate moment, right? Just huddle onto him, sort of nestle in, put your head on his shoulder, and that really helps bring a more intimacy to the moment. And then he stays the same, and just you bring your eyes up towards me. That's great. Quick shot, and we're off. We're moving. Oftentimes I'll stay where I am. I probably haven't moved a single step, and just tell them to sort of walk into the distance. I give them the direction ahead of time, and here they are, right? And I've told them to go to the concrete post and then turn around and just come back, so that I get multiple looks with the same setting, where I didn't have to change too much, and I'm just this only takes a couple seconds. You want to keep them where the light is interesting and where there's cool lines and forms. So this bridge obviously lent itself to that perfectly, but I didn't want them squinting, so just put them in the shade. Some interesting stuff. That's my style. I like sort of contrasty light as well as soft light and all kinds of different things. So put them in the light, and that can make for an interesting photo. Again, they're looking at one another, and you can see how we've corrected how they're holding hands. They're now more like a lady and gentleman. Same sort of shots here. There's one, just look at me. He's squinting a little bit because it is pretty bright out. And this is an example where I did put him in the shade, and then I've just overexposed this photo now so that they are proper. Maybe we can see. Hang on a second here. See what we started with, and then I just sort of boosted up the exposure and turned it to black and white, so that we can get an interesting usable shot that really is striking and puts the focus on them. Your eye is not distracted in this image. You can see some context. We can see this ladderscape, that sort of thing, interesting shadows, but ultimately we know exactly where the subject matter is. I've told her to, just grab up on his collar, that sort of thing, and pull him in towards you. And that's all the direction that they need. Again, just hop to the other side of that bridge in the light. They're looking down again. It looks like, more natural. It's not too posy. Shallow depth of field here really helps to sort of knock out the distractions in the background and that sort of thing. So pick a fast lens and shoot it close to wide open to really put the focus where you need it. This is them looking into the light, so you can see how sort of contrasty it is, but I think it works. He's squinting maybe a bit more than she is. Maybe he's got lighter eyes, that sort of thing. I know I'd be terrible staring right into light, but you just want to mix it up. Move them around in the frame. Here they are in the shadow again. Or I've put she's in a shadow from his shadow, actually. I run out in the street first, make sure you're not going to get hit by a car, and then just instruct them, hey, walk past. This ideally I probably would have had them more side by side, like this sort of shot, and I'm, not risking life and limb here or anything like that, but I want some progress. This is an example. I found a sort of a cool scene with some texture, and it was shaded, and we weren't in the sun, and I just asked them to stand in exactly the same position, and then I mirrored these shots. So this is actually exactly the same position, but then I just flipped the picture horizontal and then stitched them together for this sort of cool, interesting, looks like one of those fold over images or a Rorschach test or something like that. Again, look for the light, look for the interesting stuff. So here we've got the couple. I just put them in that little sliver of light, and you can see what a wonderful edge light, I guess. It separates them from the background, pulls them off, that adds texture to him, sort of etches out his face, that sort of thing. And you can see just how little light I was working with. The majority of the picture is shot in the shade. Again, let's put them in the shade and sort of overexpose things so that they can we see them properly, and helps knock out distractions. Not every shot's going to be some award winner, but put the light at their back, overexpose it. This is sort of a popular look these days to really have that light, more innocent look to things. Give her a quick kiss, and we're off and walking. This is an example of, I went in this alley, and this was way too dark in this little alcove, but I liked it. I liked sort of the contrast, so I've added a remote flash here. This is pretty simple to do, and I'll be getting to that on my channel and showing you what the cheapest, easiest way to do this is. It's pretty simple once you get used to it. You want to practice on your own time so that you're not fumbling around in front of a client, but ultimately it's pretty straightforward. And this, again, just putting them in an interesting spot, overexposing the back and giving them some direction. So I said, you want holding hands down low, tippy toes, give them a kiss, right? And, get this interesting sort of blown out silhouette. Very similar thing here, just looking for, frames that I can put them in. This lends itself well to vertical, and put them in the frame here, and I can move around. This was like super treacherous ice. It was crazy. So they had to be very careful. But again, I just want to have them stand, get some angles going on here. Give me some sass, kick your hip out, and hand on a hip, and that just helps sell the idea. And don't forget to keep your camera up while you're telling them, okay, that's good, come on back. And you get these little genuine moments as well that they might very well appreciate. So these aren't rehearsed or anything like that. Very similar concept to what I did before. Put them in the light. Your eye exactly knows where to go for that shot. Just going for some interesting shadows, that sort of thing. Very similar ideas to what I just spoke about. Here they are looking off again. Interesting sort of setting, and with the staircase you want some different wider shots, more detailed shots. I think I shot this whole engagement shoot with just two lenses. I think it was a 24mm and a 50mm. Let's see, I 58, but 50 pretty well close enough. And it doesn't take a whole lot. I like to, just give them instructions on things that they can learn. Put your back against the wall. Look at me changing up dynamic. I like sort of keeping a gap here so that her legs don't look super wide, and just help keeping some interest. Again, put them in frames, put them in interesting spots, have a seat. Your bum's going to get cold on a day like today, but we'll work quick. Stay with it. Sometimes I like to have fun with it. They were having fun, but this is more serious, right? More like toy soldiers or things like that. So put your hands at your side. You're stiff as a board right now. Give them some different direction so that they get used to taking that direction. And then on the wedding day, anything you want them to do, you got their trust, and it's going to be no big deal. Stick your tongue out and watch for those different reactions. There's one, and there's the one after, right? That's a genuine smile. It's not fake smile at all, and it came right after her sticking her tongue out. You want to find, put your camera in interesting spots. This is up a fire escape, just as many different angles as you can. Put your arms around them like high school dance. Again, look for the light, look for the frames, put them in there. Pretty easy to make good shots when you do that sort of stuff. Get a little life in the legs, find the right spot for the hands, and you're off and rolling. This was something cool, just hop up on there. So he hoisted her up there and lifted, and just makes for a more interesting shot when you get your couples to go places that not every couple goes to. Very easy. I came across this alleyway. I'd never been here before, but this super bright color seemed like it was pretty simple to, make an interesting little shot with the fact that it was just crazy. Again, they're not planning this. I just sort of whipped around, rattled off a quick shot, be ready for it, and it's sort of cool. I like the lighting here and that it's in action. And if they comment on anything, so this church was particularly good looking. The woman commented that she really liked it and that sort of thing. So I just threw in a quick landscape shot. Again, all I had with me were the 2 lenses, so I threw it was probably 24. Yep, 24 millimeter on here, and got a cool little landscape shot of that, so that they have that. Maybe she's going to put that up on her home now, and people are going to comment on it, say, "Oh, I really love that picture." And it's a talking point, right? You get more exposure that way, and it's just a way to get people talking about your images. I try to not forget ring shots, although I'm absolutely horrendous at forgetting them. But, just find a place that's interesting, put the ring. They spent the big money on it, and they probably want to see it. So get in close, that sort of thing. And these were some shots it was super cold. The sun actually came out right at the end. It was feeling a little bit warmer, so we just did a few simple shots just in the sun that were nice and easy. Pop up on here. She took her jacket off, and we were off and rolling. So I think that's the end of it. Yes, it is. So hopefully you learned some quick tips there. If you have any questions or comments, or you'd like to subscribe, that'd be great. Please leave any questions in the comments below, and I'll be happy to answer them. Have a good one.